What up, everyone? This is John. Welcome to my channel. If you're here, you probably clicked on this video to find out what it's like to go to medical school online during a pandemic. I already actually recorded this video on this camera, but for some reason it keeps shutting off at like minute 11. So I don't know what to do about that. So I'm recording on my phone right now. I don't know what this will look like or sound like. I hope it's good. If it's not good, I'll just either scratch it or upload it in whatever form it is. We'll see. Pray for me. Okay, the first note I wrote down, never thought I'd attend medical school online. I don't know why I would write that. Like no one is expected to go to medical school online. Okay, I want to talk about a couple of things. First one is sleep and let's talk about class schedule first. Class schedule. So at Harvard, we take classes like kind of like system-based, kind of. So the first course we have is called Foundations, basically like basic sciences. And the schedule for that, we would have two classes. One of them starts at 10:30 and ends at 12. And the other one starts at 2 and then ends at 3:30. And what I mean by class is basically a live Zoom session that we have to attend. It's not a lecture, it's flipped classroom, so we would actually study the night before or the morning of, if you're me, and then we'd go to class to like discuss material and like learn cases and stuff, which is very fun. I can't imagine like going to actual lectures. That would be insane. So that's the first course. The second course actually had two classes. The first one started at 1 p.m. and then ended at 2:30, and the second class would start at 2:45, so we'd have a 15-minute break between them, and then it would end at 4:15. So obviously they're really different, and my schedule's changed between the first and second course. For the first course, usually I would do my work. I'll try to do most of it the night before because the morning of I don't have too much time. Now, granted, I did try to wake up at 5 or 6 during that course, so I did have time to do work in the morning. It's not like I didn't, but I would still rather to do work the night before if everything went as planned. For this course, the one right now, I can do work in the morning, but I'm also still trying to do work the night before, just still not leave anything for last minute. That said, I have had many instances when I would do my work an hour before class. Not good. Hopefully no one from my faculty is watching this. So class schedule, that's the, what else? We have exams the Friday of whatever week we're on. So we don't actually get like a weekend to study, which is a really good thing because then we get a weekend off. But that means that week of the exams is usually like the busiest week because we're studying like the entire week leading up to the exam, depending how much you study. But yeah, so that's another thing I wanted to talk about for class schedule. Now, moving on to other things on the list, sleep. What's the sleeping like doing online medical school? Probably better than a regular medical school, honestly, but that's also offsetted by the fact that my circadian rhythm, whatever, because I'm sleeping in the same room that I'm doing everything else with, my brain's probably not associating this bed with sleep as much as it would if I only came to this room to go to sleep. So that's something that I'm thinking about a lot. I don't have a particular sleep schedule. In undergrad, I used to wake up at 5 or 6 every single day, but here, getting a little bit lazier. And I think that's also a function of going online medical school, honestly, which is why I'm mentioning this. Food. The reason I put food on the menu, on the list, is it's really hard to remember to eat. It sounds so weird to say out loud, but it's so hard to remember to eat. Like, because I'm studying on this desk and I'm sleeping in this room, it's hard to remember, like, oh, this is lunchtime or dinner time. Like, there's no like, I don't even know if that's scientifically possible, but I feel like when I'm moving around, like when in undergrad, I would go to class, and then when I feel like that movement reminded me, oh, it might be time to eat right now, or something like that, or remind me that I'm hungry. But the fact that I'm sitting here, literally, this is what I look like all day. It's really hard to remember to eat. So my food has been bad, like really bad. And I actually recently talked to a nutritionist. Not that you care, this is not why you clicked on this channel, on this link, on this video, but like that's how bad it's been. I talked to a nutritionist, she gave me a lot of advice on what to eat and stuff. Running. So I'm into fitness a good amount, not crazy, but I don't know why I did that. I used to lift a lot before medical school, but because of the pandemic, obviously gyms closed and stuff, and haven't been able to do that. So I got into running, which I used to run before, but not as much. And my friends that I want to run with, if you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. But I told them that I want to run a marathon, and I started training really hard. But because of the sleep and the eating, my recovery has been here while my training has been here. So naturally, my training had to go down to where my recovery is, and now I don't run as much. I'm running like 10, 15 miles a week, which is nowhere. Like, it sounds like for people that's a lot, for others that's really bad. But to train for a marathon, that's really, really low. That's not good. So let's just say the marathon training plans are on hold for now. Let's see, social. I wrote down social life. The reason I wrote that down because it doesn't exist. The social life has been weird. Even though I live with like other people in this building. It's probably like, it's less than 30 of us. I don't know how many particularly exactly, but it's because of everything going on. It's naturally hard to develop any kind of relationship with them. And if I do, it's not the same as if it was real medical school. I wrote that down because obviously that affects the way everything else goes. With studying, with mental health, with food, like with everything. Let's see. So now, on to studying. Nice pivot point. Studying has been weird. There's no external motivation to study anymore. Like, for example, when we used to go to class together with like an undergrad, we would, like, having people around would basically help reinforce the idea that we're students. There's nothing doing that right now. Like, I don't know if it feels like I'm a student as much as it feels like I'm working. Even though I'm learning stuff, that there's no community of students. Like, I'm always used to where everyone's used to like studying with people, not physically with people, but you know there are people with you studying like at the same time for an exam. But because everything's online, it's hard to get that feeling. There's no library. You don't see students studying. You don't see people studying. At least nowhere near that you would if things were in person. And that has decreased the external motivation to study, right? So everything has to come from the inside, internal motivation. And I don't know if you know, that's really hard. I've discovered that at least recently. It's really hard to be internally motivated for something this hard for this long. So hopefully this doesn't last for too long, but it's definitely taught me a lot about myself and why I'm doing this in the first place. Yeah, but it's been difficult. Studying has been pretty difficult. Now let's get to some pros. I didn't mean to talk about the cons as much, but you can tell what kind of personality I have. I have like a mixed pessimistic and an optimistic personality. But I guess I like to complain a little bit. Pros. So virtual communication. I wrote that down because we are pretty lucky as a class to learn how to talk to patients on Zoom. It sounds really weird because we're also not lucky in the fact that we don't get to see patients in person. But talking to patients on Zoom is a skill. I learned that because I volunteered at an online clinic a couple of weeks ago, and there was a student who, I don't know what kind of program he's in, but he's not in the school. And I guess they don't do as much Zoom interviewing as we have been. And he felt very uncomfortable talking to the role-playing on Zoom. But I felt very comfortable because I think I've internalized this way of communication. So I think we're lucky in that aspect that we're getting used to the future. We're getting like a golden ticket to learn what it's like to communicate on Zoom, because I do think that in the future we're going to turn more to that kind of communication, more and more. Not entirely, but definitely more than we do now. The flexibility, I love the flexibility. It's definitely a double-edged sword. Like, the more freedom you have, the less you're inclined to do, I think. Like, the more, what is it called? Paralysis analysis, whatever. Yes, that one. But the flexibility, it's the reason why I'm filming this video to begin with. Like, if I didn't have this flexibility, I wouldn't be filming this video. The fact that I can push my studying a little bit later or do it a little bit earlier, or like, cut it in half or something. And then all the events that I have to go to are right here. Like, there's no travel time. I don't have to be walking around for 2 hours every day or whatever. That's a pro. That's a pro for sure. I don't know. I have like 4 more cons on here, but I don't want to mention them because I don't make this video a bad video. But it's truly been a blessing to experience this right now. I wrote down my closing statement. I'm gonna read it, right? Closing statement. Grateful. period. Conscious, period. Stay tuned for more videos. So I'll explain why I feel grateful. I think we're lucky to be alive, first of all, to be here at the school, second of all, and to experience this new way of life, because I think it's going to carry forward into the future beyond the pandemic, 100%. So I think we're lucky in that regard that we get this special education. That's my thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Conscious. I don't know why I wrote down conscious. What am I trying to tell you? I'm conscious of what? Of myself? Yeah, I'm very self-conscious. But then stay tuned for more videos. I know why I wrote that. Please stay tuned for more videos. This is my first real YouTube video. If you go back to my channel, you see that I made some videos in undergrad. Don't look at them though, because they're very cringy. Notice how I told you that they're there and don't look at them. I'm trying to get you to look at them. Notice. But stay tuned for more videos. Hopefully this is not gonna be only like a one-time thing. I really want to film more. I'm gonna have to figure out the setup though. I don't know what's wrong with this camera. What's up with you? I don't know what's wrong with it. But I'll figure it out. And I think I need a mic. And you can probably see this cord going up there. That's the light. Yeah, I think this will be fun, and hopefully I can help people who want to learn more about med school, how to get into medical school. Not that I'm an expert, but I think it helps to just talk through things with other people, and I would love to be of any help if I can. Also, I'm doing this to learn about myself just as much as it is to teach people about me and this process. So let's see where this goes. That's it for me today. Masalami.